Hi, welcome to another episode of Broadcasting Northwest Florida. I'm Jennifer Connolly with Florida's Great Northwest, and today I have one of our airport directors here with us today, Parker McClellan, who's the Executive Director of the Northwest Florida Beaches International Airport. And Parker, I know you have been super busy. All of our airports across Northwest Florida have really seen some record growth over the past year, and ECP is no different. But I'd really like for you to tell our audience today a little bit about the airport and what you've got going on.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit about kind of the numbers because, quite honestly, we're really proud of what's happened across the Panhandle and across Northwest Florida, but especially here at ECP. So the airport's 11 years old. We started off in 2009 at the old airport with about 312,000 total passengers. 2019, 1.3 million total passengers. So I think that those decisions made by our community leaders in 2005 through 2007, 8 were really critical decisions, and I think they were definitely the right ones. But as we look at what that growth's been, there's a word that I like to use, and that's COVIDity. And we use that as kind of the time that we were in during COVID. And during COVIDity, and after the governor opened up the airport, opened up the beaches, opened up the second home or the short-term rentals, we saw tremendous growth. We were down, like every other airport, down 95% in April. But what we saw was a steady growth. And in March of this year, holy smokes, did we see growth. We've got, Southwest, Delta, American, and United. So we have all 4 legacy carriers operating here. And Southwest and American came in and just opened up the faucet. And with that, we saw just growth that was really, really astronomical. Flying Simple ranked 192 airports in the nation that had increased capacity for the summer of 2021. And within the top 10, 3 of those airports were in the Panhandle. So ECP was number 4 in the nation for growth. Destin Fort Walton was 6, and Pensacola was number 9. But the fact that all of a sudden, here's the Panhandle of Florida is now ranking in the top airports in the nation for recovery said something about our community and about our region. And with that, we're just kind of running with that. Our numbers right now are up about 140%. 145% over 2019, which was our peak year. But passengers are just part of our business. We have 4,000 acres. 1,200 are readily either been developed or about to be developed. We have a 10,000-foot runway, full taxiway system, so we can handle any airplane that's flying today. So we kind of are trying to get in that niche market of getting into the MRO business. We continue to have meetings with companies from around the world that want to come to the United States, and more specifically to the southeast part of the United States and then into Florida, because of the work ethic and the resources that we have available to us, which could include our white sandy beaches, because that's something for everybody to do when they're not working. So we've got 3 or 4 parcels that we're actively marketing. And as we look at those parcels, they are, whether it could be a new fixed-based operator, any type of MRO business. We're working on what we call some infield parcels that don't necessarily have runway access for businesses that don't require runway access, because you don't want to rent somebody premium land that if they don't need runway, don't give it to them. And then, one of our big partners is Space Florida. We think that that's a huge benefit to the airport and to prospective tenants with all the tax incentives that are offered. So, there's more to the airport than just passengers, and we remember that every day. It's as we look at some of these projects, it's kind of a 3-legged stool with the third leg being education. And education is a big part of what this airport was created on a long time ago. And in working with A.A.E, we hope that in the future Project Goodwrench, I think it's Goodwrench 2 now, will bring the aviation school up to the airport so that we can start doing some more innovative training opportunities for those students, so that when you get your A&P license, you've got some experience to go with it. So we've taken that three-legged school of passengers, business, and education and kind of put it into one.
Parker, I understand every airport has a master plan, and certainly ECP is no different. I think it would be important for our audience to know about what the future of ECP may look like.
Well, as we've talked about, ECP started 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, started with a green field. And some of those are challenges as we move forward, that we do everything from scratch. But as part of the planning for the airport, we do a master plan update. And that master plan update is really one that's allowing us to take really the more recent history of the airport with the success in the passengers, probably not the COVIDity success because the numbers were already done, but we look at that and what's the terminal going to look like in the future? What are we doing? How have we identified different parcels for what kind of development is best there? Which ones need runway access? Who doesn't need runway access? The education components, all that is in the master plan that helps us. It's not a document that is absolute and solid. It is a guidebook for the airport staff and the board of directors to utilize to help us make sure that we continually look at where the kind of what I like to say the blue dot on the wall is. So we never lose the sight of that blue dot on the wall and we keep moving toward that. We'll probably update it again in 5 years. Usually 5 to 7 years is the time frame. But what we want to do, since it's going to be primarily based on passengers, we'll look at the terminal, but it's always important to us to make sure that we're looking at the business side of the airport and that we continue to grow non-aviation, non-airline revenues, because those non-airline revenues help us reduce the cost for the airlines. Reducing the cost for the airlines, bring in more flights, bringing in more flights, bring more passengers. So we're looking forward to that. We think that some of the things that may change us in the future include Latitude Margaritaville, which is about 5 miles to our west. That's going to change the passenger market, not necessarily the business market, because now we're going to be able to expand our season, hopefully to a 12-month season, and offer more diverse airfares and better and more destinations. But as we look at the business development, the growth of Venture Crossings, which is the St. Joe Industrial Park right off the airport. And actually you've got to come in our entrance road to get there. So I like to say there's our industrial park, and growth there benefits both the community and the airport. So when St. Joe wins, so do we win. And as we talk with the executives at the St. Joe company weekly, that's one of the things that we remind each other, that when the airport wins, they win. When they win, we win as well. So it's a team effort. And as we look across Bay County, that's another one of those times that the whole team working together provides significant benefit to the region.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, the opportunities there are just boundless. So I'm really excited to see the continued growth, not just in passenger traffic, but like you mentioned, the business component and those industrial opportunities. So thank you so much for being with me today, Parker. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Broadcasting Northwest Florida.